J. Robert Oppenheimer, whose full name was Julius Robert Oppenheimer, was an American physicist and one of the key figures in the development of the atomic bomb during World War II. He is known as the father of the atomic bomb. He was born on April 22, 1904, in New York City, USA, and passed away on February 18, 1967, in Princeton, New Jersey, USA. Oppenheimer came from an affluent family, and his parents encouraged his interest in academics and science from a young age. He graduated from Harvard University in 1925 and earned his Ph.D. in physics from the University of Göttingen in Germany in 1927. After completing his studies in Europe, he returned to the United States and began teaching at the University of California, Berkeley, where he became a prominent figure in the physics community, making significant contributions to quantum theory. However, it was his interest in nuclear physics that would profoundly impact the trajectory of his life and the course of history. When World War II erupted, the United States recognized the potential of nuclear fission for creating immensely powerful weapons. In 1942, Oppenheimer was appointed as the scientific director of the Manhattan Project, which aimed to build an atomic bomb. As the head of this ambitious and secretive project, he brought together brilliant scientists from around the world to work towards the successful development of nuclear weapons. The Manhattan Project culminated in the successful test of the first atomic bomb on July 16, 1945, in the New Mexico desert. After the test, he said, "We knew the world would not be the same. A few people laughed, a few people cried, and most people were silent. I remembered the line from Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, 'Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.' I suppose we all thought that one way or another." This quote reflects the weight of the moral responsibility he felt for the devastating power that had been unleashed.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
The bomb was subsequently dropped on two Japanese cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, in August 1945, leading to Japan's surrender and the end of World War II. In Hiroshima, the estimated death toll was around 140,000 people, with many more suffering from injuries and the long-term effects of radiation exposure. In Nagasaki, the estimated death toll was around 70,000 people, with many others injured and affected by radiation. After World War II, Oppenheimer was deeply troubled by the enormous loss of life resulting from the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The bombings caused widespread destruction and resulted in the deaths of tens of thousands of civilians, many of whom were innocent men, women, and children. The immense human suffering caused by the bombings weighed heavily on his conscience. In the years following the war, Oppenheimer became an advocate for international control and regulation of nuclear weapons. He supported efforts to prevent the further spread of nuclear arms and urged for cooperation among nations to ensure the responsible use of atomic energy for peaceful purposes. In December 1953, just 4 days before Christmas, Oppenheimer was accused of having associated with communists in the past, of delaying the naming of Soviet agents, and of opposing the building of the hydrogen bomb. This ultimately led to the revocation of his security clearance in 1954, which significantly affected his career and reputation. Despite these challenges, Oppenheimer continued his work in theoretical physics, and in 1963, President Lyndon B. Johnson awarded him the Enrico Fermi Award for his contributions to science. He remains an influential figure in the history of nuclear physics and is remembered for his significant role in the development of atomic energy and the ethical questions surrounding the use of such powerful technologies. In 1965, Oppenheimer was diagnosed with throat cancer, the result of a lifetime of smoking. He underwent surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation treatments, but ultimately succumbed to the disease on February 18, 1967.